Hi folks, it's Keith Beardsley back today with another edition of the atory01.com blog. I'm just going to take a quick look here at some of the issues percolating out there, and in particular the one between Canada and Nato. And this is of course becoming more serious. The NATO is getting more and more fed up with the current government and their lack of progress in meeting the 2% GDP target for funding. Now, in all fairness to Trudeau, none of our governments have done that, going way back, right? We've always been the laggards in NATO because Canadians don't like spending money on military equipment and on defense. It doesn't play well politically. But that was always fine as long as the world was relatively quiet and peaceful. We're seeing that change. China today is a major threat. There's a war with Russia and the Ukraine, which could very easily spread to other countries. It's not, don't think it can't. It just takes one aircraft to bomb the wrong target and fly into someone else's country. So NATO is ramping up its equipment purchases. It's ramping up its training. Canada is not really doing much. Yes, we're sending bullets and so on and shells to the Ukraine. But what do we have for ourselves? There was a Ukrainian MP on today on the news being interviewed, and she was pleading for more ammunition and more anti-tank weapons and so on. And it's fine that we can buy them for others, as we've been doing, and that's we've purchased stuff for the Ukraine, and that's all fair and good. But what about protecting ourselves? We just take it for granted that the U.S. will always protect us. But remember, if there's a war between Russia and the United States, where do you think all those missiles are going to get shot down? Over Canada. We have the Northwest Passage. We can't defend it. We're out there making big claims that the Northwest Passage is Canadian water. Most countries don't accept that. Russia doesn't. China doesn't. Neither does the United States. They disagree. And they treat the Northwest Passage the same as they would treat some of the straits off of Iran. They consider it to be international waters. And they did it twice to us. I think it was, 1969 and 70. They sent an oil tanker through to prove that this was international water. In 1985, they sent the Polar Sea icebreaker through, again, to prove that it's international water. So even our best friend, the United States, doesn't accept our claim to the Northwest Territories. What are we going to do if it's a Russian or Chinese ship or military vessel? We can't do anything. Our military is always the last step when we come to spend money. And if you look at our numbers, we're down somewhere around 65,000 in total. Regular force, about 27,000 reserves and others. It's not a very strong force. How many tanks do we have? What are we looking at? 80 tanks to defend all of Canada. Have you seen how fast tanks are destroyed in the Ukrainian war, either Ukrainian tanks or Russian tanks? 80 is basically what you're going to lose in one day. And we're now finally upgrading our fighters, the same fighters that the Trudeau Liberals said that Harper shouldn't buy. We're finally getting some of those, but we're not talking large numbers. When you're talking 69, 70 fighters, 80 fighters, that's not a lot of aircraft. Just ask the British from the Battle of Britain. It's time to get serious and take a serious look at what's going on in the world. And we may have to tighten our belts a little bit. And yes, I know Trudeau said we would never reach it, but he's not the first. He won't be the last. But one of these days, it'll catch up to us. Keith Beardsley, atory01, wishing you a great day.